I was about to tell you a few things that had happened to me, and I will, about this topic of seeing it all through the divine eyes, so that this, idea of what is good and what is bad, it all starts completely shifting because the focus starts to become that everything is happening. Once you offer yourself to the divine, once you offer yourself to love in a sincere way, everything begins to happen for the sake of your freedom and your wholeness. Yes, I should say it again because it's kind of the core construct. Once you sincerely offer yourself to the divine, to this force of love, everything begins to happen for the sake of your freedom and your wholeness. Now, that's very different than saying once you offer yourself to the divine, you get your vision board, or you get everything that the culture tells you should be receiving in order to be happy. That is quite different. Everything begins to happen for the sake of your freedom and your wholeness. And I want to tell you what happened to me, but I always pay attention, as some of you know, to the things that happen right before the call, like in the 15 minutes before the call, because just like when I used to give readings, these interesting things would happen right in the midst of the reading, like a bird would hit the window or something, and it always felt like a sign. So this letter came, and I'm not going to read it, but I really want to synopsize it because I think it's connected to this whole idea. So this woman wrote, and she basically said she had been having enormous financial problems. And the longer they went on, the angrier she got. And she hired a financial coach who was being very, very go-get-'em strict with her. And the woman just every week was piling on more and more of what she should do in order to bring her business around the corner and get the big bucks and make it all happen. And ironically, I have to say this, by the way, as I was getting this letter, somebody posted on the Facebook page an interestingly similar story. So anyway, this woman had hired this coach, a lot of money. By the time they got to about the 6th or the 7th session, nothing was changing in this woman's life. If anything, she was feeling more and more dispirited, more and more angry, more and more helpless, more and more exhausted. And she finally just said to the coach, I've got to take a break. I can't. And so she did, and then I don't even know what happened, but she got led to the course, It's Not Your Money. And I'm not telling you this story as an infomercial for that course, but I'm just saying she found the course, and she heard the first call, and she basically burst into tears because for the first time she had the idea that the money, the business, the prosperity did not belong to her. And if anything, all these obstacles and obstructions, endless ones that she had received over so much time, had all occurred for a reason. Viewing it through the eyes of God had not happened because she wasn't a good manifester and she was blocking it and she wasn't deserving it. None of that had happened. It all had happened to get her to the place where she could finally, sincerely offer her business and her finances to the divine and say, let me serve you with this. Give me the experience that I am living in divine source. And she got it from the very first call, and she just said she couldn't stop crying. This was about a week ago. She did nothing else that the course talked about yet. She hadn't started cleaning out the house or any other things that has a lot of steps to it. She didn't even do that. Just felt that. 2 days later, she gets a call from a distant family member who says, I made a bunch of money in the stock market out of the blue. I've been hearing about your financial problems. I'd love to give you, offered her a big chunk of money out of nowhere. Now, she said, in the past, she would have been like, I don't even know if I want that money. I wanted to make it on my own. I wanted to make it through everything that, the coach was telling me, but she knew. She'd been listening to the course, and money can come from anywhere. So she said yes. She knew it wasn't coming with any strings. And, that was the gist of the letter. But it was like that thing about the outrageous openness, the casting the burden, when you stop saying, I have to go and make it all happen. I have to get my big 7-figure income and I get it in 30 days. And when all that rigidity of the ego falls to the side, which for some of us, you have to get way, way exhausted in order to do that. When that begins to happen, and then the divine takes the lead, and then there's the sincere offering, even things that seem like, quote unquote, bad fortune, you start to be able to see how they're all beginning to happen to serve your freedom and your wholeness. It's so different than just, give me the money and that'll be good fortune. I saw plenty of that when I was, giving lots of readings, sometimes to incredibly wealthy people who didn't necessarily have any aparigraha. You know the word aparigraha, it's the non-grasping. It's the feeling of being able to really actually enjoy anything and use it and give it and, be a flow for it because you're trusting that there will be enough. No amount of money gives you necessarily a aparigraha. You could have $100 in the bank and be in a state of aparigraha. You could have 10 million in the bank and not be in it or be in it. It's independent of the amount in the bank account. So